It is Saturday. And this is the Saturday night Saturday mouse party. I decided to fire up a Saturday chat because I had to miss last Wednesday, and I'm gonna miss next Wednesday, and then next Saturday, this coming up Saturday, which should have been an overnight. I'm gonna be at Thunder on the Prairie, so we'll miss that too. So I thought, well, why don't we fire one up, chat up today, and we'll hang out for a little bit, hopefully have some fun. And with me tonight, we've got Gun Websites, G-Webs, with the Digipug. How's it going?
Spirit of Midland. Thanks for hosting. So you're not going to go live from Thunder on the Prairie?
No. I don't like doing StreamYard from the phone. I've done it once, and it was the very first time that I ever went on a chat. And I was on G23's chat, and I don't like it, so I'm not going to do it. And so we also have G23. How you doing tonight?
Doing good. Thanks for the invite.
And Guns and Barbecue.
Good
How you
evening.
doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. What if I were to bring my MacBook Plus? Would you want to do it off my MacBook?
I don't know about that.
That's what I was going to say. What about bringing a laptop?
Well, I didn't want to bring
Or somebody there.
I like to travel light, so I wasn't going to bring, very much stuff. And I didn't want to bring my laptop.
Well, but if somebody there has one, or like Barbecue travels with one.
I don't know.
So if someone hosted a show, you're not even going to sit in on it. You're going to set it out and refuse.
Yeah, I would not be on the panel because I won't do it from my phone. I would be out in the live chat, chatting. But yes, I am very particular about the way I like things to be. So, is that a Tactipug that you've got now, G-Webs?
Stealth, perhaps.
So, there's a link at the top of the chat for this week's poll. If you haven't voted in the poll, head over there and vote in the poll. It was best temperature for outdoor activities: 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s. Or I don't go outside. Outside is scary. And 70s took it, 60%. Number 2 was 60s with 24%, 80s at 12%. I don't go outside. Outside is scary at 4%, and 1% said 90s.
If I wasn't such a mark for gangster rap, I would have definitely voted for 70s.
I prefer upper 60s, lower 70s.
Yes, perfect. Absolutely.
75. 75 is perfect.
If it's right around that 70, just under 70.
What was the question?
Temperature for outdoor activities. I like it a little on the cooler side, so whatever you're doing, you don't die of heat stroke. You can go out and play a game, play baseball, basketball, whatever, and you can build up a sweat and not die.
100%. Absolutely.
Oh, let me share the poll so everybody can see what we're talking about. Sergeant Joe Smith said 30s and a foot of snow. That's when we played football with neighbor kids growing up in Iowa. DJ said 70s overcast, mild breeze, rock. X Adam 1 said whatever temp the mosquitoes and gnats don't like is perfect. Caucasian Sasquatch. Bro, I'm in Georgia. Anything under 85 is fine, but give me a choice. Give me 60s or below. Fewer bugs, snakes are slower. Gunmetal Guy USA is throwing out gang signs. And Guns and Barbecue said 80 degrees when you tell me. What did you write? Tell me that. Okay, now that makes sense. What you're talking about. That ditch, please raise up these nuts because you get none of these. Eddie's rock with Guns and Barbecue. Feel the breeze. Biatch.
It's NUTs.
Oh, okay.
Not a big Snoop Dogg guy.
No.
That's all right. I understand.
I wasn't real into rap, but it was kind of Ice-T and back. I didn't
Nice.
listen. Kind of early 80s stuff, but I didn't really get too much into it.
I don't see my comment on there.
Let me
Held for review.
Let me see.
Actually, now that you say it, I don't see it either.
There it is. 70s, the most comfortable temp to do anything in. If I forget to do sort by newest first, not all the comments always show up. So, and Michael Dunn said 70s are perfect for outdoor activities, but I like 90s before I hit the lake or river. Anything else is too cold to be in the water. It's 80s is kind of pushing it, and then up to the 90s. I don't like to go outside.
Yeah. But if there's a good breeze, 80s is tolerable. But otherwise, 80s is definitely pushing it.
Baron
Depends on the
SPG.
humidity as well.
Baron SPG said 69. Nice.
I like 77. It gets 8 more than 69.
But let's take a quick peek who was out there. G23 was first. Actually, I think DJ was first, but the comment didn't.
Yeah. He was first to comment, but mine says first thumbs up. That's a whole different thing.
And Michael Dunn. Woods is out there. Roy Munson. Brian Bridges. Gunmetal Guy USA. Wesley Foster. And Baron. He said, I'm not dead yet. That's very good to hear. I had asked him earlier how he was doing and if he was dead yet. If he was still alive. And he still lives.
I wish I had like one of those buttons you could push and it goes like yay and claps. I don't have one of those.
I've thought about it a few times to get one of those soundboards, but
Yep.
It always seemed like a bit much.
Yeah, like I hear the Elgatos are supposed to be really nice, but 120, 150 bucks, I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, and all for just a yay. So, do you know yet if you're going to go to the Thunder on the Prairie barbecue? Have you been able to figure that out?
It's looking better than it had been. Not 100% set in stone, but at this point, I'd say odds are 70-30 in favor of.
What is that? Gun websites?
This is a tiny little sampler. So for like $100 or less, if you bought one of these things used, you could sample however many, 8 different samples, and then just play them. My battery's about dead, so you can barely hear it. And then you can take it out from here and shove it into like where I have my mic plugged in, and that would be an alternative. This one was $100 brand new. Like I said, they're probably cheaper if you get them used.
Oh. Yeah, I've got a small mixer, so plugging into that isn't fine. I've thought about putting stuff on my phone or whatever, and I don't know, it just didn't.
That
Seemed
works
like
too, right? Just play a bunch. You can get a little, I don't know what they call that. Whatever you guys are calling that device, you can get an emulated one on your phone and just play that software for free.
Yeah, I don't know. It seemed like more effort than it was worth.
Yeah.
Yep.
Depends on what you want for product or what you want your end result to be produced or not. Because it's not like there's an audience, so everybody who hears it knows you're just pushing a button.
Yeah.
But it can be fun or whatever. I think it's annoying when it's like every 5 minutes. I forget whose show I was listening to. There's a couple of shows I listen to where their producer does that stuff. It's usually radio shows. You don't really hear it because you're kind of expecting it, I guess, but I could do without it most of the time. But it can emphasize stuff like what Barbecue was saying.
I'll just get one every time Barbecue makes a point. It'll just say, "Yeah, boy." Oh, what do we want to talk about? I don't have any topics for tonight.
You're not allowed to have topics for a mouse party, I thought. Those are rules.
Well, not. It's nice to have things in mind so that we're not just standing here staring at each other. I guess sitting here staring at each other. But I didn't really have anything to.
Since all three of you are going to Thunder on the Prairie, why don't you talk about what you're bringing with the Thunder on the Prairie? We know
I'm not going to Thunder.
Well, we were just going to have you go.
Well, for Thunder on the Prairie, I'm taking some clothes and some stickers. That's it.
You're not going to take a
Awesome.
firearm or two?
No.
Knives?
No.
Are you checking baggage or just carrying it on the
No,
plane?
I'm carrying on.
Okay, that's tougher then.
For just a weekend trip, it's just going to be a small bag.
Are you going to have an opportunity to go up to the plane and attach something with a magnet and then afterwards go back up to the plane and retrieve it?
No.
That would make it a lot easier, I think. But
Oh my God! There's a mouse on the runway. That's just a mouse. Don't worry about it. It's probably going to go get caught in the landing gear or something. No big deal.
Yeah, just be like, don't mind me. No, I
so
like
no
that.
knives, no harmonicas or harps or anything?
No. Take my phone, and that's about it. If I was driving, then I probably would take a couple firearms for everybody to shoot. But it's if I drive straight through, it's at least 24 hours, so I'm not going to drive.
If I go, I will be taking Amtrak, which will be about a 21-hour ride. Well, I shouldn't say 21-hour ride. 21-hour trip from Erie to Omaha, and that's accounting for about a 4-hour layover in Chicago. But due to the layover in Chicago, not taking any firearms, plus just with everything going on, probably be best not to take any anyways. Just probably going to stick to my original plan. Anywho, of taking my camera and just snapping photos the whole time at the thing, and just kind of doing like a photo journalism type
Your fancy
documentation.
SLR.
Yeah. Well,
So then, what about like, do you got a fancy padded bag or something for the lenses and all the stuff you need for it?
yeah. With Amtrak, you can actually carry on 2 bags. Which the bag that I have, I could attach to the suitcase, and it would the suitcase I'd be taking
not
would be
like a
small
separate
anyways.
backpack? You don't have like a separate backpack for your cameras?
Oh no, I do. I'm just saying I could attach it to the suitcase, and it'd be good to go still, and it could look as one if I wanted it to. And in my suitcase, I'll probably, which my laptop has a pretty nice padded case for itself, but I'll probably just toss that in the suitcase with the clothes because that'll pad it just fine. Plus, the camera, anyways, I'll probably want that on the train. Go up to the observation deck or whatnot when we're going past some cool stuff and try and snap some photos from the observation car.
Probably a good idea whenever you're on a train. I've seen a lot of movies about trains. If you were to take a bunch of pictures of everybody in their clothing and their jewelry and stuff later on when there's the murder, they'll be able to use those pictures to help determine who did the murder.
I feel like I'd be the one that's murdered, and they'd be like, oh, maybe he got a picture of his killer before he died.
Oh, snap,
No,
that
just
adds a whole other
just
level.
pictures of his junk.
Like, oh my god, is it that big, or was he just really zoomed in?
I looked at when I was trying to figure out flight or drive, or I looked at Amtrak, and from here it was like 4 or 6 days trip. So it's
Wow.
yeah, it's a bit much.
You should have looked at Greyhound.
No,
I'm telling you, it's
No,
like
thank
a
you.
26-day trip.
What about jumping up onto a freight train? Those go straight through often. It might be radioactive or have some kind of foul toxic whatever, but it's free.
Derail in Ohio.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
I didn't want to have to fight my way through the serial killers that ride the rail. So,
But you'll be all right because you're a mouse. So, I mean, you've seen the Green Mile. They'll just befriend you and tell you Bojangles.
yeah. Grab my junk and spit flies at me. Is that what's gonna
Except for
happen?
Percy. Percy's a jerk.
And
I
the
thought that was a
book,
soccer movie.
the book is much better than the movie.
I've never gotten to read the book, mainly because I've never sought it out. I should, though.
The only reason I read it is my wife happened to have the book right after I saw the movie, and it's a Stephen King. Was it
Yep.
Stephen King? Yeah, Stephen King story. That's why because it kind of confused me why there's kind of magical stuff in the movie. And
Yeah.
it's Stephen King. And Woods was asking, can't Danger Mouse fly? Yeah, I can fly. I don't have a problem with flying. It was barren when we weren't sure if he was going to go or not. Trying to figure out how to get him there, but it didn't work out.
Oh, that's something else I was going to bring with me. I had gotten a Danger Mouse action figure sealed in the package and everything still. That was going to be coming along with me to give to you at Thunder on the Prairie. But Slider had other plans about a week ago. I walked in walked in the kitchen, and I'm like, why is the back to that in the kitchen? I was like, Slider, where's the rest of this? Sissy opened it. I was like, I doubt it. But on the bright side, he's got a pretty sweet Danger Mouse that he plays with now.
As long as he's enjoying it. Gunmetal Guy USA said DM Foss would be the guy at the window seat, seeing the creature dismantling the wing, and nobody believes him. I prefer the window seat just because I don't get up during flights. Even like flights to Japan, I would get up like once to go pee, maybe twice, and it's a 10-hour flight. It's like 10 hours there, 8 hours back, because of the air currents. But I don't like getting up. I don't get up. I really don't eat. I'll bring snacks, but I don't eat the airline food. Yeah, I like
cheat. When you go the one way, you got to fight the curvature of the earth and everything. But the other side, when you're going the other way across the ocean, all you got to do is go up, and then the earth turns underneath you, and then you just come back down. All you got to really do is go up and come back down.
I thought the Earth was flat.
Coriolis effect. Nice.
But yeah, the flight I got for next weekend, when I first started looking at them, they were $800.
Oh my god!
I knew they would. I knew they would come down once we got closer, and all the flights were sold out, and I got an exit row, which I kind of liked for the extra room, but I got it because that's all there was. There was like 4 seats left on this flight, and hopefully it's not way oversold, and then they try and start booting people off.
Tell him you'll take a delayed flight for $10,000 and 3 free trips.
Well, it was some of the flights. It's a like 3.5 hour flight, but some of them are like 2 layovers, and they were like over 8 hours to make that flight.
Because they go to like LA or something first.
Yeah, it'd be like Dallas and Chicago or something like that. Oh, I did see.
So how much cheaper did you get it then?
3 something, like 350 or something like that.
I heard something that if you go to Google Maps and you just look at Google Maps on I'm assuming that it doesn't matter the kind of computer. You go to Google Maps though, and you flip it to airplane side because normally it's on car, like to judge distances or whatever, and that's supposed to give you a very low rate, like whatever the lowest rate at the time is. It'll tell you what it'll give you a range or something, and it'll show you the lowest rate at the time, and that's like a hack for finding the lowest airline rate.
I went through Expedia. I looked at the airline, and I forget which airline it is, and to get this, because it's an exit row, there's a premium on it, so there's an extra charge. But when I looked at Expedia, they didn't charge that extra charge, so I went through them.
And they still give you the exit row?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I use Cheapo Air when I go checking for prices because sometimes you can get like good cheap flights. Yeah, it's a website. Cheapo Air.
And then it gives you like the ones that are discounted or cut rate or whatever.
Yeah, it's the one the drug cartels use. I did look at I looked at them and Travelocity, and the best price was with Expedia for this one.
So barbecue, you don't want to fly or you can't afford to fly?
Sorry, it's having trouble finding the mute button. No words to play. If I was meant to fly, I would have feathers on my ass.
Okay.
Gizzard Gary's out there.
I wonder if it's like that with the train, though. Like the last minute, they're charging less because otherwise they'd just be driving around with empty seats.
So far that's not what I'm seeing. The prices seem to be holding steady at the
Oh,
$300 mark.
They're so
Like if
heavily
you
subsidized.
try to schedule one for tomorrow, it's like not $150.
No.
Okay.
Amtrak gets a lot of money from the government, so they probably don't have to lower their prices.
Yeah.
Yep.
Iron Road's out there.
Sometimes if you do one ways, so you do a one-way flight each direction, sometimes it can be cheaper than doing a round trip.
Barbecue likes the three ways. There was a guy that he had had a website for finding flights, but for his, it was if whatever city you're, like if I was looking to go to Chicago, what his site would do was find a flight that stopped in Chicago, but then had a further destination. And then basically you just get off in Chicago, and it was cheaper that way by not taking the rest of the flight. And I guess he got
like you'd go to some airport where it's cheap to fly to, but you'd only go halfway there.
Yeah. But I guess he got in trouble for that. I don't know.
Well,
if
then
it's
you take you get like some vagrant, put him on the plane for you. Like, here, just get on the seat. Sit on the seat for a while. I'm sure they're okay with that.
I don't remember what site he had. It was just kind of one of those stories. I don't remember if it was on the radio or on, came across it on YouTube. It wasn't something I was looking for. It's just something you kind of stumble across.
So I was going through my first aid kits, and I found this Gerber. What do you think of this Gerber here?
Well, I'm kind of picky on the looks of a knife. I like a certain look to a knife. I don't care for that look, and I don't like serrated.
It's not half serrated, so you don't like any. You can handle any serrations.
I don't care for. I know that in certain circumstances that they're useful. I just don't care for them personally.
What about this, like no clip on it type of situation?
I don't use a clip, so that's not a problem for me. And then I kind of prefer a thumb stud over the open loop thing.
Holy moly! You don't like anything. What about this? You don't like backlocks either, probably.
And I do prefer those over liner locks.
Okay. What about the rest of you? It's a thin plastic. You made in USA. S30V, whatever that is, and then this like reverse Tonto sheep's foot type of situation. I don't know. My one friend really likes these. Actually, I've had two friends that really like these blades, and I never had any interest one way or another. I didn't even know about them until my one friend had them all the time, and then I got used to using them. And then my other friend carries one like this for years, so I really got used to them. And I mean, I don't carry this one, but I found it in my first aid kit, and I can't get enough fiddling with it because I'm like, dang, why did I put this? I totally forgot I owned it. It was in this first aid kit for a long time. And I'm like, I guess I wanted to put a good knife in there. It's super sharp. But I think the reason I'm not using it is because there's no clip on it, and I can't handle that. That's a deal killer for me. I have to have a clip on it. But otherwise, I think everything about this I kind of like.
For look wise, I like the Buck 110 style.
The old fashioned buck.
Kind of that shape is what I like. Yeah, kind of like
This
this.
is the one I carry every day.
Just kind of, doesn't have to be like a drop point, but just basic shape. This one, Guns and Barbecue gave me a Damascus folder, which
Oh, snap.
I really appreciate. And that's supposed to be buffalo horn, I think.
If I remember correctly, yes. Yeah, it's just something I had found on the Amazon, and it's like, Foss is kind of hard to figure stuff out for. I was like, I think he might like this.
Everybody says that. My family all say that I'm impossible to shop for. I'm the easiest person in the world to shop for. If somebody is kind enough to give me something, I appreciate it. Even if I don't like it, I will hold on to it because somebody took the time and spent the money to give me something.
I am the same way, but I think you and I are also the same way, where if we're going to give somebody something, we want to give them something that they are really going to enjoy and like.
Yeah,
I can tell you, Boss is so easy to shop for. All you have to do is get him either primers or ammo, stuff like that. He'd be so happy because then he can use that to then take newbies to the range and make more videos and create more 2A people.
Well, the thing is, I'm happy just with, somebody sends me a nice card. That's, I don't need things from other people. I like Christmas. I never, and this is not meant to shame anybody. This is just me personally, but like I don't ask any other people for stuff. I can buy it myself. I'm an adult. I have a job, so I do not ask other people for gifts. If like I said, I'm just as happy somebody sends me a nice card. I appreciate that, because they were kind enough to think of me. And I still have those primers that G23 gave me sitting here on my workbench of everything.
Nice.
Well, I knew you'd probably need some Magnum primers, so I figured we'd get you some to help you reload.
Well, what's it saying? Foss said he is picky in this live video. Some things I am picky about. Some things, like with knives, I like certain shapes, and there's other shapes I just don't find attractive. Like sheep's foot shapes. I think I have one, but just because the functionality of them, because there's no point there to poke into things. I can't remember who was. I was talking to somebody and told me that that's the shape that paramedics will carry, so they can like cut seat belts or something like that, and not stab the person while they're trying to
It
cut.
wouldn't be good for that, no. Although I've seen some, like, the blade looks like that, but then they put like a cutter, like the hook around the other side kind of thing, and like a little nub so that their blade doesn't cut. But yeah,
that might have been back.
It's a very sharp
seatbelt cutters.
It's a sharp point. Like that's a very tough point to break. Like if you poke it into something, it's a strong point. That's what it's got going for it. But yeah, it's not a sharp point for piercing things as much. Although, like I said, it can stay sharp and it can stay strong. It's not going to break. I've broke almost all of my Bowie tips from throwing them and poking them into stuff and yanking them just as being a dumb kid. And I never really bought those blades. I like drop points, just a standard. Like this is my favorite blade shape, just plain old, what do you call that, drop point? And I really like the flat grind, but That's just, I mean, it's a little bit fragile. I could break that, but I just don't break them anymore like I used to.
I'm a Karambit fan. I like the way the Karambit style is and all that.
For using it, like to open boxes and stuff.
Yeah, I open everything with the Karambit.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
That's pretty much all my knives do are open boxes.
Yeah, most of the time. Right? Maybe cut something every once in a while, cut a piece of string or something. That's why I like serrated. They just cut everything.
Yeah, this M&P I got just because it was Smith & Wesson M&P. And I will say
off of a Gerber. Holy moly!
This
exactly like a Gerber.
This point, I dropped this tip down on accident from about 3 feet, and it chipped the concrete on the floor. But you cannot see. I mean, if you look under a magnifying glass, you can see the damage to the tip, but to the naked eye, you cannot see any damage to it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I was really surprised.
Well, Smith & Wesson knows their metal. That's for sure.
Especially for how inexpensive these are. They're not super sharp. I mean, I can hold it like that.
I had a Smith & Wesson lock blade, but that was before, they were pretty cheap knives. I think I spent like $10 on it or something.
Roy said, "Oh, knife fud." I am kind of a knife fud. I'll say that. And I tend to, I have a couple kind of expensive, not super expensive knives. Like my butterfly knife, that was kind of expensive. It was over $100. And it's made by, God, I don't know, it's in the other room. It's branded one company, but it was actually made by another company, they're US companies. And I bought it partly just because I got it from the gun shop, and I try and buy something from the gun shop whenever I go, whether it's a box of ammo or something, just because that's the gun shop. That's where their highest profit margin is off the accessories and stuff. It's not actually off the guns. So if I'm not buying a gun, then I, try and buy something just to help support the shop. So now and again, when I go in, I'll look at the knives and pick up a knife. So I bought that, and then the thinking there was another one that was like $100. I don't know, because the Civivi I think was about $75. The little Civivi Jade Flipper, whatever, which is a little bit small. Because when I try and flip it open, it's kind of hard. I have to make sure my fingers are set just right because
that's what she said.
Just small enough.
I was doing the videos at SHOT Show of the Civivi Civivis, however you want to say it, right? And I don't know. I went through this one row and did okay. Then I went to the second row, was doing fine. Went to this third row and I couldn't flip any of them open. And it turns out they were all frame locks. And I was just holding on to them like a gorilla. Once I figured out, like, oh, I got to, not grip on it like I'm going to drop it. Because I was gripping on them like I didn't want to drop them, They weren't my knives and I was standing there. So I don't know if that's an issue or not, but they were frame locks and, I was just smashing into the blade, not allowing them to do their thing.
No, it's more just my fingers will end up kind of around the front. So they kind of block the blade from coming out.
Oh, okay. But I would say I haven't played with knives in a while, and I didn't even pay that much attention when I did. I was kind of just going through the paces because I didn't really pay that much attention to them. But in other words, like if I was going to do video a whole bunch of knives at a show or something, I wouldn't even hardly touch them. Most of the time, I just let the person demo them, and maybe one or two that have struck my fancy I'd fiddle with, but I didn't fiddle with all of them just to do it. So that I ended up doing that this year because I just said I was doing a bunch of little shorts, and I'll be darned, like those wee Civivis are like ball bearing ice skates compared to, I don't know if I should say, but like Buck and Case were some of the worst, like roughest opening, like hardest to get open, like difficult. I don't know if they just weren't paying attention or something, or like they couldn't figure out to put a bunch of lube on them or something. But they were really difficult to open with one hand, like any of them. And
It
some of the other
could just
brands were like
be,
in between.
that's what they've been making forever. And
Yeah,
when they
oh, no,
first started
definitely.
making them, they were the shit.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
just haven't
And I'm sure
progressed.
that, well, Gizzard can tell you, but I'm sure that those Wii's or something, I don't know what the prices are. I have no idea what the prices are. They could be 4 times the price for all I know. But there were a couple of brands downstairs that were really nice, but I know they were expensive because they were like one-off custom or something. But there is a big difference. I can see why people that like knives spend all that time and everything fiddling with so many of them, because there's a big difference in flipping open. Doesn't have to be expensive, just a good one, like a nice one, and then one
Yeah.
that's not. Like my thing has always been the Axis lock, because you basically release it, and then mine's all gunked up right now. But once you release it, it lets the blade flip freely. So I've never looked past that. Once I figured out the Axis lock exists, so I never really flipped open other ones. They almost all have frame locks or liner locks, which I can't stand. So I would never buy one, but I am impressed by how well they open.
Yeah, that Civivi is a liner lock, which it's
I'm too
okay
old.
as I'm
I'm not
kind
going to
of
own
getting
them
used
anymore.
to them. The
Yeah, I mean,
like
it's not like it's going to cut you. I just figure you don't have to do that. You're doing that because you want to. I don't like
my favorite knife that I have is my Kershaw Cryo 2, which I didn't know they have two lines, one that's made in China, one that's made in the USA, and I didn't know that. And the Cryo is made in China, but I like it. It's a kind of heavy, and I like heavier. And it's a frame lock. It was the first frame lock that I've ever had. But
And I had a orange heavy one that somebody gave me, and I eventually sold it because I never carried it because it was so heavy, and I can't remember the brand now. So, do you like them that are not just heavy, but like bulky, that like have some extra girth to them or whatever? Like instead of being super slim on the grip, they give you some grip.
I don't like the super thin because it's for my kind of pudgy hands, it's a little harder to hold, but not blocky. And I don't know. I've always preferred with that little bit of weight, I can feel where it is. Compared to something super light that I can't tell is there. And that's partly me, and I've got a little bit of nerve damage in the hands. So if I'm holding something super light, I can't tell how tightly I'm holding it, and I'll drop it. So there's a minimum grip pressure that I have to use to know I'm holding on to something small and light.
Okay, Gonzo is the name of it. Have you ever seen a Gonzo brand?
No.
They're kind of like Benchmades or Spyderco's, but they're not like direct ripoffs, but they've got some of the characteristics. But what they do is they're way thicker. Like if they've got G10, they don't bother to make it like thin or ultra light. Like they just go ahead and leave it kind of thick, is the way I would call it. And for me, I understood like if you're wearing gloves, it'd be ideal. Like if you were using this in cold weather, you'd kind of want it to not be super lightweight, so thin. It's just that I wasn't doing that. And it had an Axis lock, and it was really nice. I had a Gonzo G720, I think, looking at the different versions here, or maybe a G742. But it was sort of like a standard looking knife, but it was so thick that I was wondering if you might like that. And of course, it was a little bit heavy because it was thick.
Was it this one?
Well, mine was orange, but similar. I think it was the G720 in orange. that I have.
Oh, this is the G727.
Yeah, it's just a slightly different blade shape, I guess. A little bit stockier.
But this was just on the front page.
But anyway, well, I got it as a gift one time, and I was like, "Oh, I never heard of this company." And I started looking around, did some videos and stuff. And I'm like, "Oh, okay, it's all over the place. Like, this is definitely an established brand. I just never heard of it."
Yeah, I've never heard of them.
And it was a super nice knife. There was nothing wrong with it at all. It was just, like I said, a little bit thicker than I'd wanted for carrying in my pocket. I wear skinny jeans, and I don't want no big thick knife hanging out.
Personally, I want to spend anything over like 30, maybe $40 for a knife because I'm probably gonna break it or lose it, and so I don't want to lose $100, $200, $300 knife.
Well, $300's a lot, but like $100, you wouldn't be more paying attention to your knife more if it was $100 than if it was like a $20 knife.
No, I lost $180 pair of Oakleys multiple times. I lost gargoyles that were, $150, $200. So I've broken them, so I don't personally, I'm just not going to spend that money because I can spend it on something better,
The problem with gargoyles is they come alive at night, and I mean, if you don't have a good tracking system on them, they're just gone.
I tend not to lose things because I'm very careful. If like my keys, I never lock my keys in my car because I don't set them down. They're either on the hook where I hang them when I come home, or they're in my pocket. I will not set them down inside the car. When I was younger, I did that all the time. Would have to break into my own car because I'd lock my keys in my car, usually with the lights on. So I was really bad about it. And then, so now, if it's a knife, if it's my keys, I don't set it down. If I'm using it, it's open. If I'm not using it, it's closed. And then in my pocket, if I'm, like here working on the table, I'll set it on the table right in front of me. But, if I'm out and about, I don't set stuff down. I don't set my glasses down. I don't set sunglasses down. That way, if it's in its place, it cannot get lost.
I don't know how many times I locked my keys in the ignition of my car. So you leave the keys in the ignition and lock the car. I don't know how many times I've done that one.
Now I've got the keyless entry, so you cannot lock your keys in the car. It won't let you lock the door if the keys are in the car, if you're not in the car.
Sorry, boss. I was going to say I would just carry around 2 pairs of keys just in the event that I ended up locking myself out of the house or out of my vehicle or something. I'd always have that second set of keys on me.
I had a second car key when I was younger. I kept it in my wallet because I kept locking my key in the car.
I would just fire the chauffeur if I got locked out of my vehicle. If you fire the chauffeur and their entire family, that gets a message to the rest of the staff.
Yeah, but the problem is if the chauffeur's already locked you out of the car and they're like, "You're fired," and then they just drive away, then you're like, "Oh, I'm walking."
Well, you go to the nearest place and buy a new car.
Buy a new driver. But backing up a little bit, Gary had said the liner locks on the Civivis are pretty nice compared to some other knives.
I just don't like the form factor. I don't have a problem with. I'm sure they're nice because they open nicer.
And Sergeant Joe Smith is out there, and Vanessa Kitty, and the goddamn bacon. And Gunmetal Guy said, "I'm so old now, I buy accessories with wicked colors to keep from losing knives with neon orange handles." etc., etc. And Sergeant Joe Smith kept an extra key in his wallet when he was a kid. Vanessa Kitty carries 2 truck keys. 1 key stays on her all the time.
And some of the remote keyless entry will let you lock your vehicle with the keys in the car, but again, you can press that same button and unlock your keys. Unlock your car. So
The one
Yeah.
the one problem with having the keyless entry, it's keyless to get in and then push button to start. Now when I get in my wife's car, I forget I have to use the key. I go to push buttons that aren't there.
sounds like you need to buy the wife a new car.
Oh. No, because it's really nice not to have a car payment for her.
Well, you could still, it doesn't have to be a brand spanking new car. You could get a newer vehicle. Well, a used vehicle that had keyless entry and still not have to have a car payment.
Not for anything I would buy. And right now, car prices are still crazy. We were kind of looking at used cars for my son, and I had thought, well, maybe if we give him my wife's car and then maybe get something new for her, but the value of her car is crazy. So everything's expensive right now.
Yes, everything is expensive.
I remember in my day, you could buy a reliable used car, an old used car for $600 that would get you places reliably.
In my day, I remember when you could go to auctions and pick up like really good cars that you'd pay like $40 to $100 for, and not have to worry about anything, except maybe the fact that the person that owned it before it got seized, because of like a drug seizure or they were driving drunk or whatever, they might get pissed that they're seeing you drive their vehicle.
My granddad told me back when he was young, him and a friend bought a car at an auction, and it was an old gangster car, had bullet holes in it even. And they were driving it around, and there was a rattle in the door. They took the door panel off, and there was a gun in it that cops didn't look for.
That's what I was going to say. You got to be careful that you don't find, like, you get pulled over and they're like, oh, we're just going to do a routine whatever. And you bought this car for $60 at an impound. And it's like, hey, look what this dog's finding.
Well, there's been stories of that. Somebody bought a car at auction, and there were drugs that like a bunch of coke in there that the cops missed.
Yeah, I heard about one recently. I think it was a podcast I was listening to. The guy was talking about when he was a used car salesman. They had just sold a car like a day or two before, and the people come back. They're like, "Yeah, it's like blowing in the air." And they're like, "Well, we'll take it in and we'll look." He's thinking, they're trying to scam him or something, and the mechanic crawls in to see what's going on, and next thing you know, all these pills start falling out from the dash, and they're like, what in the world? So they call in the sheriff to bring in a dog. They sweep the car. People are out in the lobby the whole time, see the drug dog come in, never ask questions, don't think anything of it. I guess they got tens of thousands of dollars worth of pills out of the dashboard. They're like, holy cow.
Mechanic comes out and he's super energetic and says he
Yeah.
has to leave.
Jackpot.
Gotta go, man.
Yeah, figured out what's wrong with your car. We're going to need to keep it for a couple of weeks, though. But yeah, let you know. Talk to people up front. We'll talk to you later. Gotta go.
So G23, when you guys were getting cars from police auctions, was that pre-gangster G23 or post-gangster G23?
That was post. That was shortly after I met my wife. And there was a couple times we picked them up for like 40, 60 bucks and then turned around and sold them for like 600 bucks.
Nice.
Wood said, I'm going to channel my inner Rob. Is G23 really giving Foss crap about buying a car when G23 doesn't buy his wife flowers?
Again, flowers die. A car is a present that is worth giving due to the fact it can be used every day for multiple years, and that's a present that just keeps giving. Whereas that flower, yeah, you're gonna buy a flower for like $50 damn, and 2-3 days later it's dead. That $50 just went out the window. You know what?
Hey, hun, here's a $10,000 gift. By the way, if you don't keep up on it, it's going to die. By keep up on it, I mean there's all this maintenance that needs done. Oil changes, spark plugs need change, tranny fluid flush. Don't forget, change the radiator fluid, blinker fluid, muffler bearings, ball joints, brakes, tires. Have fun. So is this for flowers?
Rather than, hey, baby, here's a flower I picked in the park for you. Love you. Vanessa said, I would look in the newspaper for Mercury Comets for sale. I would buy 2, use them until they fell apart. I kind of did that too in my younger days. Buy, a $300 car and drive it till it died and then call the Hulk hauler and they'd take it away.
And by the way, Barbecue, did you not see my video that I did showing that I bought the wife a flower and I got a free oil change?
Vanessa said, I bought my first brand new Ford Ranger in 1990. I had a 1999. Was it a 99 or 90? I don't know. I had it. I loved that Ranger, that little Ranger.
I had a Ranger too. They were super awesome.
Little 4-cylinder, 4-speed. It was an awesome little truck.
Yeah, I wish I still had it.
Yeah.
My dad had a 92 that I was supposed to get. Then he crashed it into a snowbank and he thought he bent the frame, and in a drunken stupor sold it in a cockamamie transaction that involved his uncle and some guy that his uncle knew, and then he paid his uncle some amount of money because he was the middleman in the whole deal. It's a bunch of BS.
Yeah, the only reason I got rid of mine is when my son was born, because we needed room for a car seat.
You need room for a car seat, more like put it in storage and leave it for him.
I had a 97 Ford F-150 I paid $0 for.
I feel like you put the baby in storage, keep driving around the Ranger, and then in 18 years, you go open up the storage unit and be like, hey, son, check out this cool truck. Let's teach you how to drive.
That would have been a lot easier.
Probably a lot cheaper, too.
And I wanted to say, oh, yeah, where'd he go? There he is.
Who else?
Larry Knopf.
Anybody else put a cap on the back of the Ranger? I had a cap on the back, and then I popped the window out so I could go back there.
I did.
Yeah.
When I bought mine, they were I bought it from it was a finance company, not a dealership, and they had two. They had one that had the kind of the square tube rack on the back of it. It was somebody's work truck, and I didn't want the big rack on it, so I went with the one that didn't have the rack.
So what you're saying is you didn't want a rack. You wanted something flat.
Yeah, I didn't want Iran either. Sergeant Joe Smith's first truck was a 97 Ranger. Woods. It had several S10s, one S15. Camped in that S15 a lot. I really like the S10s, the V6 S10s.
Is that the Blazer?
No, well, I don't know about the S15, but their little pickup like the Ranger.
The S15 was the GMC model of the S10, but I mean the Blazer was just the SUV model. But yeah, the 6-cylinder 4.3 Vortex were incredible. I mean, they just run forever.
In high school, that's what when I was TA for the ag department, so I got to drive around the S10 to do stuff. I was, pretty preppy, pretty peppy little pickup truck.
They still make Rangers, I guess. But that's good. He's saying as of 2005.
Well, they just started making them again, and they're not bad looking.
Aren't
They're
they bigger now?
2 years. Yeah, they're a little bit bigger. Was it like 2 years ago? Just started making them again.
I don't know. I got to drive little S10 Blazers around, and I liked my Ranger better. I don't care if it had a bigger engine or not. Yes, the little Ranger pickup was funner than a Blazer, in my opinion.
Well, now they're making the Ford Maverick again, but it's not a car; it's a pickup truck.
Yeah, I'm not gonna ever buy one, so my opinion doesn't matter. But I had my first car was a 1971 Ford Maverick, and it was not a pickup truck.
Oh, it looks like an SUV or something.
Yeah.
Oh,
But
I guess it's a king cab pickup, I guess.
But that's like when Dodge came out with the Magnum. The Magnum was not a station wagon. When they started making the Magnum again, the original Magnums were not a station wagon. But again, I wasn't going to buy one, so my opinion doesn't matter.
It doesn't do me any good to see these Mavericks sitting there by themselves. I want to see it next to another car. Are these the size of a Ranger, or are these? Oh no, they're little. The Maverick is way smaller than a Ranger. It says.
Oh yeah, I've never seen one in.
Or no, maybe the
person.
Maverick's the bigger one. Shit, I need to see it next to a car.
When you see them in person, they look about the same size.
As
The
what,
Ranger, the Ranger and the Maverick look almost the exact same.
Oh, here's one standing next to somebody.
Yeah, Larry agrees with me. Said I had a 74 Maverick. It's weird to see a Maverick as a truck.
Yeah, I agree. It's a dumb thing to do to change names like that or share names like that.
And Woods had a 73 Maverick with a 250 straight six. That's what I had, was the 250 straight six.
Doesn't look that small. I'm looking at it next to a camper, and it looks like a normal sized truck to me.
Sergeant Joe Smith said the Maverick truck is smaller than the Ranger.
Oh, really? Well, the Ranger's big now, because I do see a picture over here where it's like, here's a Maverick and a Ranger. It just doesn't tell you which one's which. But one is definitely smaller.
Let's see if we can. Oop, yeah, that's.
It's a
Trying
Ford.
to s- So here's kind of a comparison. It's not great, but it gives you an idea.
Okay, the
So
2005 is bigger than the 90.
the biggest, the F-250, and then next to that is the F-150, and then the Ranger, and then the Maverick.
Oh, okay. Well, then definitely the Maverick is the one to get, but it looks weird. I don't like it. I don't want a king cab tiny truck. What the hell? Get rid of that king cab and make it tiny.
I was waiting for Chevy to bring back the Elko.
Yeah, that would be nice. Except it'll look stupid now. The last time they were talking about it, it looked really stupid, and it'll look stupider now, I bet.
They better put tail fins back on it.
Well, I don't know. They could go into. I don't know what we're gonna see next. I'm thinking maybe boxy cars will be next because everything's so like egg shaped now. People get sick of it. Have you seen? Okay, it's the Han Solo movie, the new Han Solo movie. It's about Han Solo growing up. I mean, it's
Yeah,
not brand new, but it's like not the old Star Wars. There's like a new Han Solo movie, and in the beginning of that Han Solo movie, he's flying. He's driving around in like a Cadillac version of the what do they call that thing? The hover car thing that Luke had in Star
Yeah.
Wars. And that would be cool. Like that had good styling, I thought. Kind of a square old 1970s Cadillac look. What is this?
This is an Australian, the Ute. This is probably what a new El
Yeah,
Camino
you're
would
right.
look like. That
It would.
because they use. I forget which company that has one like this. I don't know if it was the Ute, but they use the Corvette engine in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't know if they still make it. That it was a few years ago, but I'm guessing this is kind of what a new El Camino would look like.
I saw it was, I forget what brand it was, something kind of crazy. And they're making, it's kind of like an Elko, and Subaru Brat had a love child.
Mm-hmm. That's what I was going to say. Bring back the Brat. That'd be cool.
I wasn't the biggest fan of the El Caminos. I liked the older, the 65, the kind of square version. I don't care for the, I guess, newer ones. Like
The
get up
80s?
closer to 70. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
the Malibu, the ones that kind of look based off the Malibu.
Yeah.
Those are okay. We had a Malibu station wagon.
They're kind of square headlights, the new ones, or
Yeah.
the newest ones. Yeah, I had a friend that had an 80 something, 82 or something El Camino that was pretty sweet. I had a 70, early 70s one, so round headlights and big, really big. It was the old station wagon chassis. I love that thing. But
And
the one right before it, the 68s were the shit with the two round headlights and the muscle car look. 68 El Caminos are my favorites.
I had a friend in high school had a 65 with a 327 in it. That thing was stinking fast.
I wouldn't mind like a 78 or 80 SS Elko with the 396 underneath the hood.
I had a straight 6 in it. It was the dumbest engine ever, but I got to play with a straight 6.
Iron Road said between the F-150, Ranger, and Maverick, the Ranger is far the better pick because the specs are really close to the F-150. And Larry wants the Chevelle to come back. I did like the look of the Chevelles. I like the Chevelles. I hated the look of the Novas. I had a friend that had a '68 Chevelle, and that was nice. It was lowered, but he only had the 307, so it wasn't that fast, but it sounded really nice. He went with as big a cam as you could without needing a stall converter.
My grandma had a Nova, so I never understood why people thought they were muscle cars. I'm like, my grandma has a Nova. That's what we go to Toys R Us in. Like, what the hell would we want? It's not a muscle car.
Yeah, I've never liked the look of the No-Go.
Thing is if they were to bring back like the Chevelle, I don't, I don't know. You look at the way like Chevy does when they bring back their new stuff, their new old stuff.
Yeah.
And it's nothing compared to like the way Dodge brought back, the Challenger or the Charger. It still had the muscle car like feel.
It was aggressive. It didn't look like a wimpy teardrop or whatever.
You look at like Chevy bringing back the Blazer. And it's like the new Blazers. It's like, what the hell? That is nothing like what a Blazer should look like.
Well, part of it is probably the shape in order to meet fuel economy or aerodynamics. And
well, you look at Ford brought back the Bronco, and so they went with like the 70s style Bronco, so it was the smaller, and you can still take the top off and everything, not bad looking, versus bringing back that Blazer and then making it look like it was a Toyota RAV4. Come on, it's not even anywhere close to the style points.
Iron Road got a certified pre-owned 2021 Tacoma. That was an ouch and a pang.
What does that mean?
I'm not sure. I'm guessing expensive.
Yeah. 2021. He probably paid 22, 23 grand for it.
The Tacomas have always been kind of a nice pickup truck.
I thought they were expensive. I thought $22,000 is a cheap car nowadays.
I had a friend that had a first gen Tacoma when they came out, roommate, and it was a nice little pickup. I kind of like the looks of the first gens more, and now Toyota, all of their pickups and SUVs all look like the Tacoma. The Tundras really do not look good, in my opinion.
See, I think it's in 2024 year for the Tacoma. They're supposed to be bringing back a manual 6-speed. It's either 24 or 25. They're saying they're going to be bringing back a manual option.
Well, Vanessa said her brother's Tacoma is now more used than it cost him new. And she said for her, the Tacomas are kind of small on the inside. She likes the Ranger better. Yeah, Vanessa's first car was a 67 Impala in Alaska, $400. What was the Ford version of the Impala?
Ford version of an Impala?
Not Impala, of an El Camino.
Oh, the Ranchero.
Ranchero.
Yes, Rancheros have always been ugly. Other than the ones that were based on the original ones, the real small ones,
the Ford Fairlane looking ones,
based on.
So when we started the Daily Gun Show, me and Bob, right? Bob has a Ranchero that he still owns it, I think, and he's all like, "Won't shut up about it if you start talking about Rancheros." And I never really liked them until I like started paying more attention to El Caminos. I did some research on them one time, and I started to like those Rancheros are not playing around. Like they're like basically a truck, where the El Camino is just a station wagon they turned into an El Camino. The Ranchero, they were like, hey, let's make a thing that you can load up like a real truck. So they're different or whatever. But yeah, I never liked the looks of them. Even the old ones, I'm not a fan of. I don't like those old Ford winged looking vehicles.
Like this style is the style that I thought looked good.
Do you like the 57 Chevy look in El Caminos?
I don't like 57 Chevys. I like 56 Chevys where the tail fins aren't as tall.
I mean, I like the El Camino, like the 62 or something, whatever it is that looks like this, but I don't like the Rancheros. I think it's the insides I don't like about the Fords. I think I like the insides of the Chevys better.
I don't remember because I had a friend that had a Ranchero. I don't remember what year. It was just big and kind of lumpy. Can't remember if he had a 427 in it or not. Had a friend that they had a station wagon with a 427 in it, and they would race. His dad would race people on the way to church with the family in it.
Yeah, station wagons are supposed to have like the best frame or whatever for racing.
429, not 4. Was it 429?
Like they're the strongest chassis or the strongest frame or something.
Yeah, 429, not 427. Sorry. Yeah, trucks are definitely, when you need a truck, they're really nice to have, but most of the time you don't need a truck.
They should have like rental trucks that you can rent like for different purposes.
You can.
You can rent them for $20 a day from Home Depot.
No, the U-Haul ones, but I mean like real ones, like for towing something important or like doing something cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, in
U-Haul.
big towns they probably do.
U-Haul has the
No, I mean like a 4x4 or something cool.
Yeah.
Like
they have like
the
Chevy. Cool. They have like the Chevy 1500s that you can rent for like $20 a day.
Yeah, I don't know, but I'm saying a cool one. It's like a 4x4 and a king cab. Like if you want to go out tooling around and like you can just like rent that and not have to own a 4x4. Sort of like you can rent dune buggies and you can rent motorcycles and horses and stuff.
You're probably guaranteed that it's going to get wrecked every time it's taken
That's
out.
true. Insure it, I guess.
Yeah, because like U-Haul has the little tiny pickups, the regular, the 1500s that are 4-wheel drive. They've got like utility vans, and then they've got actual, box trucks that you can rent. So there's 3 different styles.
I had in high school had a girlfriend that she had a Ford Country Squire, was a 65 or 67, I don't remember. With a 350
station wagon?
Yeah. It had a 352 in it. And that was a kind of where we lived, Kitsap County. It's all hills. It's hard to describe because there's not a lot of places like it, but everywhere you're going uphill or downhill. And it's the kind of tall hill where you can't take a picture of it because it doesn't give you the scale correctly. I never realized it while I lived there, but after I had moved away and then went back to visit family, and you realize, oh crap, how did like in winter, how the hell did I ever drive up and down this in the snow? But when you grew up there, you didn't think anything of it. But she would stop on, halfway up a big hill so that whoever's following her would have to stop. And then she'd, floor it and take off and be gone. And nobody could catch up to her.
In what kind of car?
It was, I think it might have been a 65 Ford Country Squire.
Oh, okay. Well, they're meant for like pulling either a entire vehicle full of stuff and people, and or some kind of boat or camper or trailer or something. So, right, they're meant to drag and pull.
Yeah. But it kind of, let's see, it kind of looked like this.
That's pretty hardcore looking. I like them headlights. It's got that Canyonero thing going.
Yeah, we went bowling with one of her friends one time, and when we were leaving, I was making her laugh, and when she would laugh, she'd slow down. So I got her laughing hard enough where she stopped. And two guys pull up in a car next to us and ask you, "Hey, is everything all right?" And I'm in the back seat, and I go, "Yeah, everything's great. I'm the one with two girls. You're the one with another guy." And they chased us around for like half an hour after that. They didn't appreciate that, but I thought it was funny. Woods' dad had a Country Squire with a 390 in the early 70s. Vanessa said, "I did drive old VW Beetles as manual transmission. My knees were at the dashboard. I had a 67 Bug, which I loved it. I mean, it broke down every time I drove it. I ended up trading it for a 69 Dodge Dart, but they're just fun cars, super easy to work on. I removed the engine by hand. I warped the heads, but I had a cousin or uncle that used to own a VW shop. So he had a spare set of heads. We went out and visited him, and he gave me a set of heads. Had a friend help me put them on, and then I traded it for the Dart. But I remember that Bug fondly. No heat, because the way the heating system in the old Bugs work is fanciful. But kind of quirky, fun cars. Mandatory Carries out there driving by saying hello. Vanessa's mom had a Ford LTD station wagon with decal woody sides. I looked at a LTD one time when I think I was in high school with a 390. Ended up not buying it. But, I like the 390s. Sergeant Joe Smith said, "I am 6'4". The F550 has a lot of leg room. Got a 95 F150, 95 Chevy 1500. My BMW has as little as it has a lot of leg room for us tall Germans." Woods, my buddy had a Baja Bug. We went deep in the woods, get it stuck, pick it up out of the ditch. I had a friend that he had a Bug, and This was, I think he had it before I knew him. And don't tell him, he doesn't know this story. But they had some kind of problem. So his brother-in-law and his brother-in-law's brother-in-law were working on it for him. And it caused a tension between the two brothers. So they dug a big pit with a backhoe and buried it and told him it was stolen. Years after that, he gave me the key to the VW and said, if you ever find the VW, here you go, you can have it.
Did you go dig it up?
No.
You should pull a Lone Wolf McQuaid, grab some beer, go down there, and just drive it out of that hole.
No, the brother-in-law's brother-in-law was a biker, so I'd rather not deal with him. I mean, he was pretty cool, but one night we're over at his place and he was drunk and high and showing me his tattoo, and he's like, this one's Hitler, this one's Klan, and this, like, all right. And he was drunk enough and high enough that he couldn't get them right, so he got pointing to the wrong one. Wow. Sergeant Joe Smith said he's got BMW Z3 and 18 trucks. 10 of them are Rangers. He has all the Rangers. He's hoarding Rangers.
Is that the Power Rangers?
Oh, there were only like 5 of them. So let me play this. GearWebsites.com for all your 2A related t-shirts, patches, stickers. He does web design, 3D printing. You name it, he can probably help you out with it. GearWebsites.com. So G23, anything you want to plug?
Probably sometime tomorrow I'll have a video come out from our latest trip to the ocean, showing the comparison of the use of the DJI mic and no use of the DJI mic. And then I've got a few more videos I've got to shoot. And then next Saturday we're doing the New York. Can I restore my rights in New York?
Yeah, I got a sneak preview of part of that review, and those mics are pretty cool. It's pretty impressive. G-Webs.
Is it true that you're going to send New York Outcast undercover into the New York prison system and then out to find out if he can, in fact, get his rights back? It's true investigative journalism.
I cannot confirm nor deny that is a possibility. So, I mean, I do hear Staten Island could be a nice place for him to visit.
Is there anything you want to plug, G-Webs?
I'm going to be getting into the tiny hat business, tiny turbans and tiny headbands for animals. So if you got a tiny animal and it doesn't have a headband yet, let's talk. They love them.
He looks like
hand.
Handmade in the USA.
Nope, it's actually from Pakistan, but I pulled it off of a Pakistani scarf in the USA, so that counts. I thought he looked a little bit like Rambo when I did it before. I don't know if he liked it, but let's say you got a cat or a tiny dog and you need a cool Rambo headband. Let's talk.
Foreign sourced, but assembled in the USA.
Exactly.
I,
Made
I
in
do
USA
gotta,
of foreign materials.
I do gotta thank G-Webs for sending me the link to the microphones that I ended up purchasing.
That one that Ghost got me?
No, when I sent you the email for the DJI mics,
Oh,
and
a
then
long
you
time
sent me back the link to it.
Yeah, that was a long time ago. Ghost just sent me a headset. This headset right here. Wireless headset. I can't use it with live stuff because I can't. Do you know how to make these hear what we're hearing in here? I can get it to where I can talk in here, so if I'm by myself it works, but I can't get it to hear you guys if I was in one.
I don't know. I use wired. That way I don't have delay or problem.
It should work. You should be able to hear when there's multiple people, but when you're doing it by yourself, you won't hear anything.
Well, I mean, when I play my stuff, like I don't hear my commercials, I don't hear other stuff. When I am out of StreamYard, I hear normal videos on YouTube. Anyway, I have to figure out the tech to it, but you're talking about a different microphone.
Guns Barbecue, are you awake? Are you out there?
I am.
Is there anything you would like to plug?
Let's see. Well, hopefully I'll be going to Thunder on the Prairie. So, hopefully I'll be getting to shake hands, rub elbows, whatever it is that you Washingtonians prefer to do. I don't know how the whole, COVID thing affected you guys up there in blue states. Around here, we still shake hands though. Let's see. With that, just like to remind everybody that, call, check in on your friends, family, all that fun jazz. You never know who might need the phone call, as well as just keep them in your thoughts, prayers, whatever you wish to do. You just, like I said, you never know who might need that little extra boost, pep talk, positive reassurance, etc. So that's all I got. Thanks, boss.
Well,
I got one question for you.
Yeah.
Barbecue, is it true that you're gonna be back on Tuesday nights?
So far.
Just like to say thank you to everybody that was out there in the live chat, chatting it up, and those who were watching but didn't say anything. Appreciate you too, and those who watch this in replay. Oh, god damn it, I forgot the banner. If you watch this in replay, appreciate you. Hang on here a second, just to make it official. There you go. At the bottom of the screen, if you made it this far, you can see the untactedfoss@gmail.com or the link that'll get you somewhere if you want to send in comments, suggestions, or pictures within reason. I always read the comments and they're always appreciated. And other than that, I hope everybody has a good rest of the night.